Okay, guys, so it looks like we've gotten to the point where the Supreme Court needs to decide on making homeless people's lives worse. They're already out on the street. You think it's their choice that they want to be on the street? I can tell you right now, they don't want to be on the street. There might be a subset that's like doing stuff that they want to be on the street, but I highly doubt that too. Nobody wants to be on the street. Let's get into the story. It's absolutely crazy.
Today, the Supreme Court heard a major case about whether cities can crack down on homeless camps and punish people for sleeping outdoors. This case.
I would feel like being outdoors would already be the punishment. You think I want to be outdoors? Are all the girls outdoors? I can see them. They're closer to my little hut. They're closer to my tent. I can like spit some game at them right there. Like, girl, I'm really good at outdoor camping. Can you not see this lovely little tent that I have right here? They don't want to be outside, in case you didn't know that. That is crazy.
Centers around a small city in Oregon that tried to block people from sleeping in public, even if they had nowhere else to go.
So obviously the city wants to try to clean themselves up a little bit better, kind of like how San Francisco cleaned it up for Xi Jinping. But anyways, they want to make the city a little bit nicer. So what are you going to do? You're going to put all the people in jail? How are you going to punish people that already have nothing? That's like trying to sue somebody. You can't sue somebody if they don't have any money. There's nothing to take from them, you know, and they have to survive either way. That's why it's worthless to sue poor people, because they're not gonna, like, if you're trying to evict somebody and they didn't have any money to pay you rent, so it's there, you're barely not gonna get any money out of them anyways. So it's the same thing with these homeless people. How are you gonna you're gonna punish people that already don't have anything? Come on now.
A recent report by the federal government found that more than 650,000 people across the country were living in shelters or outside in tents and cars. NBC News Washington correspondent Yamiche Sindor joins us now. Yamiche, it's good to see you this Monday. First off, what did we actually hear in those oral arguments today?
Well, today the Supreme Court sounded skeptical of Oregon's case as the justices heard oral arguments on whether government laws punishing homeless people from camping on public property violate the Constitution, and specifically the Eighth Amendment, which bars cruel and unusual punishment. Now, the ordinances in question were enacted by the city of Grants Pass, Oregon. They prohibit sleeping or camping on public property, including sleeping in a car in a city park. Now, a key issue in this case is punishment, which can include fines of up to several $100s. People can also be barred from coming back to certain public properties. Today, both liberal and conservative justices posed a number of questions about how the laws could help curb homelessness, which is what the city says they will do. Justice Brett Kavanaugh, who's a conservative, at one point said, if you get arrested for camping outside, how are you better off than you were before you got arrested?
You can't.
Now, lawyers for the homeless party.
Yeah, thank you. At least somebody makes some sense. I'm glad all these people are outside with their signs. Hopefully that sends some type of message. It's literally common sense. You can tell the city doesn't want to make the changes that it needs to be done because of the jurisdictions of how they zone all the, the lots, right? So obviously the cheapest housing possible would be the tiny homes. But when you designate a property to be like a tiny home or, like commercial property or some type of like RV lot, so something for cheaper housing, it lessens the amount of taxes that the city's going to receive, and it makes the city look poor. It just makes the city look poor. It brings down the class of the city, especially when you change those zones. However, it is needed for housing, especially if you could have sub developments of tiny home communities that these major cities just aren't allowing, and you could put those on the outskirts of the suburbs. But then some people in the city, like the suburbs, don't want that either because it brings their property valuations down as well. So it's just people not wanting to help other people, and it's just greed. It all boils down to greed. That's just how it is. That's always has been, and that's most likely how it will be in the future, depending on what the Supreme Court is saying right now.
Which sued the city, argued that the ordinances in effect criminalize homelessness and do nothing to improve the economic problems that cause people to have no place to go. Morgan.
And Yamiche, I mean, frankly, we've seen this before, right? Policing the homeless has become a pretty big legal fight in other cities as well. So how could this case sort of have implications for other states, other places that are looking at this as sort of the canary in the coal mine?
Well, the Supreme Court decision here will have wide-reaching impact because a number of cities prohibit camping on public property, and local officials in several cities, including Los Angeles, San Francisco, and Phoenix, they all wrote into the Supreme Court in support of Grants Pass, Oregon. But the Biden administration here has mostly backed the challengers, meaning the advocates for the homeless and their lawyers, saying that laws that bar sleeping on public property are unlawful if they are applied in a manner that prevents an individual without available shelter from residing in the jurisdiction. So definitely a case to watch, and definitely one that's going to have impact.
Yeah,
Morgan?
for sure. NBC News Washington correspondent Michelle Sindor, thank you.
Let's get into these comments. It's like, here's an idea: make housing and groceries affordable so people other than the rich can afford to live. And then there's another guy saying this is ridiculous. They should punish whoever is responsible for raising the rent. You can't do that. We are in a capitalist society. However, what you can do that also benefits capitalism is what I said before, is you change the zoning of some of these lots around the cities and make those for RV lots, for tiny homes, and just more affordable housing that can be put into those cities. And you can do it in certain areas. Yes, it's going to drive down the price evaluations of the areas, but the city can utilize the funds and the taxes, which is what they're supposed to be utilizing in the first place, to make those areas better, to keep a good presence around those areas, to help police those areas. It's kind of like the projects, but it's you own the actual thing itself. It gives you ownership, and then you could develop programs that help get people into those tiny homes, or those, and I would say RV lots. RV lots are just cheaper. I stay in a trailer park. So I don't judge. I stay in a trailer park my damn self. So you know what? And then you move up, and then you work on yourself, and you develop. But when you don't have the chance to develop and be in a good area, you can't even get a good job if you can't shower reasonably. You know what I'm saying? If you don't have anywhere to put your clothes, shit's all on your clothes, you're in a tent, you're trying to get your life better. You got to put yourself in the mindset of somebody that's actually in a tent. And a lot of people aren't doing that. And that's what's causing this little divide, because they can't relate. They can't put themselves in that type of situation. They're not going to go stay in some tiny home. They're not going to go stay in some RV, and they're damn sure not going to stay in some tent that's in the city to get themselves in the mindset of, oh wait, maybe I should make these changes. These are the changes that need to be made to help the public, to help somebody that's receiving less than I am, type of deal. Tell me what your thoughts are on this subject, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.